Who is this Lex Luthor looking lady from the new Deadpool and Wolverine trailer? Is she just a gender swapped Professor X? Well, yeah, basically she is. Cassandra Nova is probably one of the most overpowered X-Men villains you have never even really heard of. So what is her intro into the X-Men world? Because technically speaking, even though her origin story wasn't shown until the new X-Men issue 114 in 2001, she was the very first villain that the leader of the X-Men ever fought. We all know that the X-Men comics sometimes reads like a super-powered episode of The Bold and the Beautiful. And nothing reads more like a soap opera than having an evil twin. We see this origin twice in the comics, but Cassie first met Charles in the womb. Never in my life did I think I would watch two fetuses battle it out for survival, but this scene is every pro-choice's dream. Because as Cassandra has the umbilical cord wrapped around Charles' neck, Fetus X blasts her with psychic energy and murks her. I don't even know if it counts as an abortion or a miscarriage, but either way, it's an incredibly dark moment in X-Men history. From here, it's confusing as hell. Cassie somehow ends up in the sewers. The more you don't ask, how did a miscarried fetus end up in the sewers, the better for everyone's mental health. She collected herself and built a body undetected for years from a mass of growing cells on the sewer wall. So she is part poop. In my head, that makes perfect sense. Where else is she getting enough atoms and mass from? Straight up a poop lady. That isn't confirmed in canon, but it has to be true. So years later, Professor X is doing his thing with the X-Men and Cassie decides to get her revenge. Her abilities are basically just the exact same as her twin brothers, except she is at the absolute maxed out end of that potential, even to the point of genetic manipulation. She then finds a dropkick member of the Trask family and brings him to an abandoned master mold factory. When there, she assimilates his DNA into her own, effectively killing him. As she now has Trask family DNA inside her, she now controls the master mold factory and can create her own army of Sentinels. She then uses this newly amassed army to completely wipe the mutant nation of Genosha off the map. If you didn't think this story was dark enough with her origin, the genocide of 16 million mutants doesn't make it any better. She was eventually captured by Wolverine and taken back to the X-Mansion. This was all a part of the plan, however, and she immediately started controlling the mutants present and making her way to Cerebra. This was stopped when our White Queen, the crystal baddie herself, Emma Frost, snapped her neck. And if Charles killing her in the womb wasn't bad enough, Charles then comes and unloads 6 bullets into her. But hold up, the soap opera continues. Unknown to everyone, Cassie brain switched with Charles moments before, meaning Cassie is now the new leader of the X-Men and Charles is in an absolutely lead-pumped, spine-snapped, poop-built body. As this drama continues, this is when Jean Grey decides to show the X-Men her origin story. So we see little Charles and little Cassandra's sperms race towards their mother's egg. Yeah, the origin story. An origin no one really wanted to see that far back into. What follows this is some more war crimes during her time in Charles's body, concluding in her going on a holiday to space to spend time with the Shi'ar Empire. This is the first time we hear about the Shi'ar legend of the Mumadrai, basically an evil spirit made to be the antithesis to someone upon the moment of conception. Apparently many people fight their Mumadrais in the womb, only difference is Charles was psychic, so she was as well. So now we have an evil twin story that's also an evil spirit story made to be an evil Charles Xavier. She then took over an Imperial fleet, tried to destroy a galactic empire from the inside, and then made her way back to Earth. Encasing her body in a psychic monster built up by all the bodies of the people she had absorbed in her lifetime, she was eventually pushed out of Charles's body when she attempted to hack into Cerebro again, and Charles' consciousness was there waiting for her. So yeah, she's an absolute powerhouse. In a couple of weeks, she took over a Sentinel factory, destroyed a mutant nation and killed millions, took over the X-Men, destroyed their public image, got herself into space, attempted a coup on a galactic civilization, and then rushes back to cause more havoc on Earth. After this point, she's not really heard of much more again in the comics. Some notable achievements is causing mutant hate crimes to happen across the globe via psychic suggestion, blowing up a senator's head on live TV and framing Jean Grey for it, and using microscopic sentinels to enter people's brains and cause them to both identify mutants and fly into a murderous rage when near them. So, she's got a resume, a traumatic origin, and hopefully this gives you what you need before going into Deadpool and Wolverine.